I had to retire at 55. I mean, I'd always planned to retire early, and age 55 was my backstop, really. I didn't want to leave it any later than that. For years, I've had this irrational fear that I would drift without making any decisions and then find myself stuck to an office chair at age 60 with 25 days holiday a year, and then have a stroke and see all my retirement ambitions dissolve into managing a serious health condition. Now, I say that's an irrational fear, but actually, it's not that uncommon. And as you only get one life, it wasn't a risk that I was prepared to take, really. Now, I do have a tendency to overwork, burn out, and then make myself ill. And I've done this all over my working life. So I knew that my retirement plans had to be solid. If they weren't, then I'd risk my own mental health. And I don't really operate well when I lose my structure or routine. I get bored easily, and that can lead to a downward spiral for me. So retirement had to be well planned. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through you a summary of the plans I put together prior to handing in my notice at work, and some of the activities I'd planned to help me stay physically and mentally active in retirement. So 10 years ago, we got Pink, our Hungarian Vizsla. We chose an active breed that required a lot of off-lead time. If you get yourself a Vizsla and you aren't prepared to take it on extensive walks at least twice a day, then be prepared to have all your furniture chewed to pieces. This was deliberate for us. Tracy and I love walking. This would give us a reason and a necessity, really, to do it every single day. Now, Pink's a bit older now, but she still keeps us both pretty active, and walking is one of those low impact exercises that's excellent for cardiovascular health, as well as the fact that we meet so many other dog walkers that we stop and have a chat to. So it's a social element too as well. Swimming was next on our list, and we try to get to our local pool regularly. It's gentle on the joints, and it gives you a pretty good full body workout. Now, many community centres offer these kind of swim programs as well, and they're not particularly expensive to access. Yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, that kind of thing. Now, I stopped my martial arts classes about 10 years ago as they were a bit physical. They became a bit difficult for me, to be honest, but I've since begun to go to Tai Chi classes, and I find the mind body exercise improve my flexibility, my balance, strength, and they also reduce stress and I think some mental calmness as well. Now, Tracy prefers yoga, and I see her go to that every week, and I see how good it is for her. She absolutely loves it. Now, dancing is a weird one. So, from age 20 to 50, I don't think I ever got up on a dance floor other than the first dance at our wedding, really. So, now when I go to family parties, I try and make it a must to get up and have a dance. Now, this is not so much about keeping fit, it's more about that change in mindset and attitude. And I'm trying to be less self conscious and more sociable, really. Now, cycling was on my list, and it does remain an ambition rather than a reality for me. I just cannot find a seat that works for me. I really do find cycling uncomfortable. So that's not there yet. But strength, yeah, strength's a good one. Strength training is really, really important. What I did is I bought a 6K exercise ball, one of these rubber balls. It sits in the corner of the room, and whenever I pass it, I try and pick it up over my head and slam it on the floor a few good times, which is good for the mood, but it's also good for core strength and balance and bone density as well, which is really important when you get a bit older. Now, the one that was a real big surprise for me, I had it on my list all the time, was gardening. Now, gardening has become my favourite exercise, which is strange actually, because before I retired, I absolutely hated gardening. Now, what I realised is what I hated was gardening flowers, but I actually love gardening veg. So I've now got some potatoes, some beetroots, some tomatoes, etc. on the go, and I'm loving that. A garden combines physical activity with time spent outdoors, and as you can see from the background here, we got some lovely surroundings. So it benefits both body and mind. So that's me keeping physically fit. Now, what about mental activities? So my local music venue is great where I live here. It's in Birkenhead, and they offer courses in sound engineering completely free. So I've signed up for that. It's always been a passion of mine, sound engineering. Taking up new subjects such as online courses and local classes, workshops, that kind of thing, or learning a new language. These stimulate the brain and help keep us sharp as we get a bit older. I think that's really important as well. Now, also on my list was reading and writing. Now, regular reading, maybe keeping a journal or doing some creative writing, it does engage your mind and improve your concentration as well. And I think what I do is probably a bit obvious here. I really enjoy making content for this YouTube channel, and it helps me keep my mind active. I mean, as you can see from the style of this video, I don't put a lot of effort into the production. What I tend to do is sit and think where I am with my retirement, make a couple of notes, and then switch the camera on and basically start talking. But I really, really enjoy doing it, and it does keep my mind active and keep me engaged. So the next one then is puzzles and brain games. These are really important as well. So crosswords, Sudoku, chess, and kind of brain challenges. But the ones I particularly like, and this won't be the same for everyone, but the one I like is I like doing online strategy games on my phone in particular. I just feel it gives you that kind of breakaway, that kind of inward time to really enjoy doing. But creative hobbies are really important as well. So activities like painting and drawing, photography, music, crafting, these really do encourage creative expression, and they also keep the cogs turning in your brain, don't they? Now, I've started to play more music. I mean, I've always played saxophone all my life, but I've never really been particularly competent at playing guitar. So I've set up a guitar club with some friends, and none of us are very good. But I think that makes it more fun, to be honest, the fact that we're all kind of learning together. Now, the other thing that was always on my list was volunteering and social clubs. Now, volunteering and joining book clubs or discussion groups, that kind of stuff, it fosters that kind of social connection and intellectual stimulation, really. Now, there wasn't really the perfect club that suited me locally that I could find. So what I've done, I'm going to set up my own. And again, it's related to music, which is my hobby of choice, and also linked to sound engineering. What I've done is I've set up a not-for-profit record label. And I'm actually applying for some money from the National Lottery Social Fund to help organise some community events around it. I'll let you know how I get on that. I do actually have another YouTube channel on that if you're interested in that kind of stuff. If you look for Needle Jump Records, you'll see me on there doing that. So that covers mind, body, but what about soul? Now, a group of my friends have a WhatsApp group called Gigs, and whenever somebody spots something interesting that's going on locally, what they do, they post it up on the group, and as many of us who can make it go. And I tend to attend most of them, to be honest, as I really do love live music. Also, Tracy and I tend to do city breaks, and when we do, we link these to either some cultural or historic interest we both share, but then we also link it up to a local concert that's going on in that city, which always makes it more fun as well. Now, exploring new places or attending cultural events like theatres and galleries and concerts, these do keep life interesting and stimulating as well. So, as you can probably hear, I'm absolutely loving my retirement. It definitely is the best decisions I ever made, really. And what I realise here is I haven't really talked about, the financial aspect of retirement planning, but I do a lot of that on this channel. So if that's something you're interested, keep tuned.